I want to show you something we've been working on for commercial real estate firms around building AI analysts in order to save firms a bunch of time in terms of how long it takes them to do this type of work, and also save them a bunch of money as a potential replacement for some of the very expensive tools they might be using now, or as a way to not have to hire for certain headcount in the future. So this AI analyst is built using an AI agent. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically an AI robot that can think and make decisions like a human would based on instructions you give it. So you give it an input, that agent will take that input, you give it instructions, you give it tools to use, you give it guardrails so it doesn't do anything crazy, and then you end up with an output, which is the hook, and then you can do something with that. So this video, I'm mainly focused on the functionality. I'm not building out a sophisticated agent or a sophisticated analyst. This is just to show the potential of what is possible. And also, this is just focusing on that piece of it. In a real world scenario, this would be a much more sophisticated analyst that would be more built out, and you could also automate the input and the output. So on the input side, what we're doing here, or what we would be doing, is getting information about a property from CoStar or another listing platform, maybe taking information from leasing and legal documents, passing that to the agent, doing the analysis, and then once you have those results, doing something with the output. I have another video where I automated the process of creating property brochures. So you could definitely do something like that and automate the whole thing. But now that I kind of explained what an AI agent is, I should mention we're using OpenAI to do this, which if you use ChatGPT, OpenAI is just the model and the company behind ChatGPT. And we're also using a platform called LangChain, which helps you build AI agents. And you combine OpenAI with this, which gives the AI agent the decision-making and thinking ability. So let me start to walk through this. Now, I found this very simple cash flow model online. And on the left here, we have all the cells in blue that are the inputs. So you have inputs around acquisition metrics, operating metrics, expense metrics, loans and sales. You have the actual details of the forecast here. And then you have the return metrics for going in cap rate, levered IRR, levered equity multiple, and levered cash on cash. So the first thing I did is rebuilt this into a web app using Python. And you don't need to build a web app for this process. I'm just building it to kind of show visually what's going on. It makes it easier to understand. But here we have the same inputs as we have in the Excel file, all the stuff around acquisition, operations, and more. You have the details of the forecast here. And then you have the return metrics. And I want to note that these values all do match the Excel model. We just look at some of the return metrics here: 1163, 865, 3179, 2385. Those do match what's down here. And if we scroll down on the web app, we have this agent chat. And this is where we're going to put in kind of our input and what we want to analyze here. So I have this sample prompt where I want to generate 4 investment scenarios for a Class A office building with the following criteria. There's a range for purchase price, property size, rent per square foot. We have the goals for IRR and cash on cash return. And we have other criteria down here. And we're telling it to compare how the different scenarios perform, and also focusing on which parameters have the biggest impact on IRR, I should say. And that's part of the sensitivity analysis we're going to do. Now, before I go and actually do this, I want to show some of the tools in the code. So the first tool as part of this AI analyst is going to just evaluate the default scenario that's in the model. And again, in the real world, we would have a lot more instructions here rather than just this one line. Then it's going to generate the different deal scenarios based on the criteria we gave it. After that, there's also a tool that allows the analyst to just take the criteria that we're giving it and turn this into a usable format that the analysis can run properly. And then finally, we have a tool that will do the sensitivity analysis here. So in real life, doing this type of stuff may take an analyst a lot of time if they're just playing around with different inputs in Excel and they have to do that analysis manually. But here, we're just going to run this through our AI analyst. So I'll paste that in and just click this button. And this shouldn't take more than 30 seconds to run. And you're going to see this step by step, where first it's going to take the text that we gave it and put it into a usable format. Now it's generating the different deal scenarios that fit our criteria. Now it just finished the sensitivity analysis. And now it's complete. So what did we get out of that? What did we get out of that? We got these 4 different scenarios, and the purchase price is within our range. The rent per square foot and the square footage is exactly what we want. And the rent growth and vacancy rate and all of this stuff matches the criteria that we gave it. If you scroll down, we have some of the insights around the impact on IRR. So what has an impact there? There's a risk assessment and there's recommendations. And again, this stuff is very basic. In real life, you would give more specific instruction that would give you more specific and personalized recommendations. And again, this took 15 to 20 seconds, super fast, saves a lot of time. And if you're worried about not having a human in the loop here, that's something that you can do. As this process goes, you could have this AI analyst send messages to a human. And also, if something kind of looks funky and doesn't look right, you could also have the AI analyst send that to a human where they could investigate this further. So even though this is super fast, you can also have a human in the loop here. But once this is done, again, I don't have it built out here, but you could easily export this data to a CSV, an Excel file, or put all this into a memo or a presentation. So again, super basic. There's a lot more you can do on top of this to build this out, but I just wanted to show just a very bare bones example of how you can use AI to really speed up what you need to do for some analysis work. And again, this could save you having to hire more headcount. And really how I see this playing out in the real world is that firms that have analysts, rather than doing a lot of this work themselves, they may be more of a manager where they're kind of managing AI tools that are doing this stuff in the future. So hopefully you found this interesting. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And if this is something that you might be interested in for your firm, happy to have more of a conversation around that as well. Thanks.